Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to work with more advanced concept of your secret. That is basically we're going to use secret rather than the generic mode which you normally use now we're going to use Docker-Registry mode. Now, while using this Docker-Registry mode, we are going to utilize our new secret name called my Docker-Registry, in which we are going to connect with a repository over here, which is your Docker server with the URL, which is given over here. Now, this URL is basically the index URL of your docker.io. So this works exactly fine if you're connecting with any of the Docker services or Docker server for retrieving the existing Docker repository. Now, you know that we have some time back, we have created the Nginx image on our beyondcloud.ai from our Docker repository. And what we're going to do is currently it is on public. So which means that if I'm going to use this image and create a repository, it's not going to ask me for any username and password or any kind of authentication checks. It's not going to do that because it is currently the repository is loaded in as public. So if I'm just going to quickly create a new pod over here, secret -pod 3.yaml. We will be using the same pod for the actual hands-on as well. So here, if I just copy paste this and remove a couple of parameters over here, I shouldn't have any problem running this pod or creating an image which is based on my beyondcloud.ai Nginx version 1. There shouldn't be a problem here because there's a HTTP service running on it. So now I have the secret. Let me just remove the existing pod. Delete my pod. So I'm just exiting the pod which I've created for the previous example. Now, let me run this file which I created just now, just pod3.yaml, just taking too much time for me to remove the pod. So just waiting for that to happen. So let me just give it like a couple of minutes. So the parameter over here, which I need to use, which is going to be right after my image, I need to put in this parameter called image pull policy. And here on the image pull policy, I have to put always. You can also add, you can also have never and if not present as another option, where it never pulls an image. If the image does not exist, then it's going to throw up an error saying that I'm not supposed to be pulling from the internet because the pull policy is never, and it will not be actually downloading the image. Rather, it will just fail to create the image. If not present is a very good option, wherein which if the image is not present, it's going to be downloading it from the internet. So that's basically the default policy as well. So that's why it looked for the image locally and it found the image and it basically used that image. But if you're going to put always over here, then it's always going to download the image. So if I'm just going to apply this pod again, and then I just do describe over here, so you can see that pulling image. So irrespective it's there or not, it's going to pull the image down. So this is something which we need for this example. And as this repository is public, it had no issues accessing the internet and pulling this repository from the internet. But then if it's not public image, if it's a private image, like for example, I can make this private by clicking on it. And then I just click on the public image. Oh, I'm sorry. I just go back. I go to settings over here and I click on make private. So this is Nginx. I need a confirmation. And then this image is now private image. So which means that the only people who can access this image requires some kind of a username, password, and also some other parameters as well. Like for example, you need the Docker server instance, like the whole Docker index file. So that's the root folder, and then you should have your registered email address with your Docker, and then you need to have your account username and then the secret password from Docker, not your account password. So it's not saying account password and write account password. It's saying the secret password from your Docker. So I'll talk about that in some time when we are trying to fill this up. But let's just try to pull this image now, see if it works. That's what I want to see right now. So I'm just going to rerun this YAML file, and you can see that pretty much it has gone to creating container. Now, if I just do a describe over here, that is an exception. So it's clearly saying that failed to pull this image or unpack this image, failed to resolve this particular URL, pull access denied. So this clearly says that you have insufficient scope for this particular image. It also comes up with an exception called authorization failed. So this clearly tells you that it's not able to pull this image because it is obviously a private image. So to give authority for it to pull down this image, or authorization for pull that image down to the server, you're gonna have to come up with a secret identity created with all this information which I just told you over here. So let's copy and paste this command. So let's just try to fill this box wherever is required. So let's go from the beginning. Kube control create secret. These are something which you already know. Here you're gonna include a different option over here rather than generic, which we normally use. Now this is gonna be a Docker-Registry, and the name of your secret, which is my Docker-Registry. So we already have my secret loaded. So we're gonna have this my Docker-Registry as well as part of the secret now. And here you have Docker server. Here I have defined the name of the server instance. So this is a default one. So you can actually get this information from the default command. For example, if you do write this command till here and then put -help, you can get the default Docker stuff, but it's always good to verify it on the internet as well if this URL has changed. But more or less it wouldn't change because it's part of your Docker, it's part of your kube control documentation. So as you can see over here, the Docker server information where the images would be pulled from. So let me copy paste it again. There you go. So so this is pretty much that, and the URL doesn't change, so you don't need to modify it. So here you need to put in your registered email ID of your Docker. So just go in over here, click on the name, and then you will actually get the name over here. You can go to accounts also to get your email address, but I know what's the email address I've given. So it's beyondcloudai@gmail.com. And then you have the username over here. So that's basically the username is beyondcloud.ai. So that's the username as well. So here it's asking for something called a secret password, right? So now this is something which you can see it over here as well. So this is a password from the Docker-Registry authentication, not your user password. Say username of your Docker-Registry authentication. So that's this one. But if you're looking for the passwords, you just go to my accounts, and then inside that you have your email address as well. And then you have your security details. So here within which you will be creating the new account access. And then here you can give a token description over here. So I would prefer the token description to be the name of my Docker-Registry. So that's basically the options over here. So you can make this read, write, delete, read, write, or read only. So as of now, I want only people to read only from here, not read or write or delete. So they can download my image, but they cannot upload it on my beyondcloud.ai. So this is basically what read-only image is, and then click on generate. And then you can see that you can use this as the password when it is prompting for access. So copy the password from here and paste it right here where it requires a password. Now this is your password I was talking about, so not your account password, because I mean this gives more fine-tuned access on your accessing your repository, who can access your repository and stuff like that. Now, now that you have configured the complete command, let's see if this command works. There you go. This command has worked. So let's just do a review of this one. So you get Docker-Registry -o YAML, and you can pretty much see that a Docker JSON file has created. Though we don't create, we have not directly created it. It has created. Now you can see the type as the name, and the type as Docker config JSON. So this is what we spoke about earlier. So anything else you create on this Docker registry. So for example, you're not saving any kind of a username and password, which means that you're not using generic or opaque. You're gonna go with the Docker config JSON. So now Docker config, and the difference between Docker config and Docker config JSON, we will see it on the next video. But the baseline, as you can feel that, it's going to have a separate file over here called Docker JSON config. And that's the access to that file or the content of the file. So if you just do lsfnA, you will see this Docker JSON inside the Docker configuration. Not here, but then it would be there in the wherever it's executing this file. So that's basically what you will see as part of this one. So pretty much that. So this has created on the default directory. But then if I'm creating it manually, this JSON file, I would have created on the local folder where my stuff is. But it is created on the default location of the Docker, which we'll discuss later. So now the Docker config JSON is created with all the values. Now this file, if I've just show you the location of it, just bear with me. All right, so as you can see over here, as it uses the config JSON for Docker, so that's a file located here in your home directory, where you have your Docker config.json. So it's inside your hidden file of Docker config.json. So if you combine this together, you will get Docker config JSON. So Docker config JSON. So that's how it is, stores your variable. So what it stores over here is the authentication variable. So it stores the auth and the URL and the authentication variable. So this is very important for you to log in. So the rest of it, you would give it as part of the command. So you will give, if you see this one, right? So if you just see this Docker registry, right? So you would be giving, if it showed the example when we created this, right? So you will see that we will be giving the username with -u as a command. And then rest of the stuff, you will be able to see that, password will be coming through from that. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. So this is how it stores the value when you do this. But when we create such a file, I'll show you that how exactly manually we need to do it in the declarative way. It's a little complicated, but that not so complex method. So now that we have done this file and this command is executed fine, and this command is already there with my secret. So you have my secrets and my Docker registry. Now we will create a pod, and this pod will have this special parameter over here which says that image pool secret in the secret name over here. So let's just do that right now. Let's open the pod which we just created some time back. Now all I have to do is like under spec, right? Under spec, I need to copy and paste these two parameters over from here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this and paste it over here. So the aligning is wrong. So image pool secret, so that's gonna be under that, it's gonna be name, right? So it should be under that. So it's like one tab and another tab. Yeah, there you go. So let's see if this matches the item. Just give me a second. Yeah, it looks good. So under this should be the name. So that's how it's supposed to be. So you have the image pool secret and then the name, and you have my Docker registry. So that's the same thing over here as well. Looks good. Now let's see. Let's try to pull this image, see if it works this time. So I'm just gonna do an apply over here. kubectl apply -f, and then this one. Then let's do a describe on my pod, see if there is any exceptions this time. Seems to be the same exception. So it's not able to pull the image on worker 2. Just trying to pull, and then same authorization failed is coming. Let me check this out and get back to you. All right, I might have made a mistake while creating this file. So I'm sorry, creating the command line utility. So I'm just gonna remove this cube control apply. I'm sorry, delete, and item, which is your secret. And then what is the mistake I did is, like, when I created this is the colon, the quotes, which needs not to be present for everything else, and the colon as well. Colon is fine, but then the double quote, I think the single quotes was a problem. So let's just remove the colon and the single quote, see if it works this time. So I've created it now. So let's just try to execute it again. So let's apply this. Let's just delete the pod and then have that applied again. See if it works this time. All right, it works fine. So you can see that it is pretty much running. So it is the quotes which is in the username that must have been triggered the problem. So I will copy paste the same thing over to you guys as well in the GitHub page. So let's just do a describe on this one. So let's just describe, and you can see that it has successfully pulled the image, and the image is still in the private mode. So that's pretty much how we can do that. And this helps you to understand about using the Docker config as well, and the config JSON as well. So now we will talk more about it on the next further down the line videos. And thank you again for your patience and time. I will see you on the next video.